Hey, what's up guys? John here. We are witnessing something pretty unreal in the housing market. We're seeing mortgage rates absolutely skyrocket. I mean, they are taking off, and now we're starting to see price reductions. Oakland, California, for example, over 10% price reductions over the last 90 days. Prices have dropped 10%. You look at some other markets, such as Austin, Texas, some of these markets in which people thought would always remain high because of the demand, potentially the policies there, the no income tax. There was a lot of money, businesses, companies, and opportunities moving to Texas. People thought that this would always remain. However, what we're starting to see is huge price reductions. And I believe this is only the beginning. In fact, what I think is ultimately going to happen here is I think we're going to see massive price reductions that are going to be in excess of 2008 and 2009. I think we're walking into one of the biggest crashes. I'm not saying this to be, negative. I'm just being honest. I'm being transparent. Here's why I think this. Sure, we're in this inflationary environment. Many people would say the reason that prices are going to fall is because of rising interest rates. No, what I think is actually going to happen, that's going to be part of it, but what I think is actually going to happen is you have all of these Americans that own properties, that own these properties based on a 3% or 2.5% or 3.5% 30-year fixed rate loan. But what happens when they didn't take into consideration inflation, job insecurity, rising insurance, rising property taxes, an unstable economy? People are not going to be able to refinance their homes. They would have to take out a second mortgage if they can get it at 8% or 7.5% or 7%. And then how are they going to have the proceeds to be able to afford to do that? A lot of people are going to be forced to either rent out their property or sell their property when things start to get tough. Now, what I think is going to start to happen is I believe that the 1.5 million to 1.7 million new homes that are going to be finished construction by home builders are going to be listed for rent. We're going to start to see a ton of rental inventory hit the market, and we're going to see a lot of property owners that simply were hedging against inflation, but they're hedged so far that they don't have the cash reserves to make it through a multi-year storm, which is what's going to be this housing market. Take a look at this. 800 credit score. 800 credit score, so the perfect credit. Please hit the like button as well. When you hit the like button, YouTube's going to share this content to educate more people about what's really going on. So an 800 credit score, 7.268%. So that's the perfect borrower, incredible credit, most likely strong cash reserves, great income, stable income, clean taxes, just an easy borrower, 7.268%. The average credit score in America is a 698, but let's say you have a 740, right? 740 is same thing, 7.268. Now the average credit score, 698, that's 7.732%. And let's say you have bad credit. Bad credit, 8.25%. So the difference between having bad credit, 8.25%, and perfect credit, it's about one full percentage point. Now that over 30 years, you would be shocked at how much, depending on the property value in question of what you're considering to purchase, you would be shocked at how much that will actually cost you on a monthly schedule over 30 years. It might be an extra $100,000, $150,000. This is going to be a very big shock when it comes for home buyers that are thinking about buying. Now, what I think is ultimately going to happen is I believe that the buyers that are thinking about entering the market, they have everything in line. They're working on great credit. They have great credit. They have cash reserves. They have a plan. They know where they want to invest. They have everything squared away. Because when we walk into these uncertain times, what are we going to see? We're going to see more sellers and less home buyers, and that's an incredible time to enter a deal. Your first deal potentially is when there's no buyers out there. And then what I think is ultimately going to happen is reminiscent of like 2008, 2009. I was in real estate back then. That was when I first got into real estate. What ultimately happened is in 2005, 2006, everybody wanted to buy real estate. Everybody. They loved it. It was so sexy. Everyone was making money. Property appreciation went through the roof. However, when the market crashed, everyone hated real estate. Nobody wanted to invest in it because they thought, hey, you know what? Real estate's it's a bad investment. You don't want to buy real estate. But then what ultimately happened is the smart money went out there and pounced on deals and bought deals. And the masses, they just kind of sat on the sidelines. They waited. The properties appreciated, crashed, then they left the market, then they bought back in when the market started appreciating again, and it's likely going to do the same thing over and over again. So what I think is going to happen is if you are a buyer and you want to invest, the time to do that is probably going to be in front of you. You want to make sure you have great credit to do that. We'd love to help you at CashNow.Video. You can even call us at 561-430-5900 for a free consultation. And home buyers, look at this. Mortgage rate volatility hits highest level since 1987. Look at this chart. That is absolutely crazy. Home prices are falling fastest in these 10 U.S. cities. And you look at these locations. For example, you have Austin, Texas, down over 10%, down 10.3% since June. Change since September, it's up 2.2%. So all the gains, essentially all the gains over the last 2 years, it's now only up 2.2%. When in reality, this was a market that people thought was only going to continue to rise. You give it another 90 days, I can promise you that change since September is going to be in the negatives. It's no longer going to be in the positives. We're going to start walking through this period where we're going to see increased utility bills. We're going to start to see bills really stacking up and accumulating on one's credit card, travel expenses, holiday gifts. Everything is going to compound, and then with it, it's going to be rising rates, which is going to increase the cost to service that debt. So people think, hey, I can afford the minimum payments now, but as rates continue to rise, it's going to cripple many people. And Austin, Texas is one of those markets you would think that would never happen. It is happening. Austin became the poster child for toward housing market growth during the pandemic. Prices, sales, and incoming residents all skyrocketed. The city has become a tech hub in recent years, and the overall relative affordability of Texas has drawn newcomers from both coasts. But as the saying goes, what comes up must come down. After historic low inventories, more homes are now for sale, but prices more than 10%. Prices have dropped more than 10% in the past 3 months, almost wiping out the gains over the past year. Austin's still up 2.2% year over year, but that's the lowest annual gain on the list. The percentage of sellers in the metro area who have slashed their prices up 252% in September compared to the previous year. 252%. Phoenix, Arizona. 9.9% loss since June, and now they're up 4.4%. Phoenix has been the leading edge of real estate trends for years. During the pandemic, baby boomers, families, investors flocked to the city, bidding up prices at mind-boggling new highs. It was reminiscent of the ballooning real estate values in the mid-2000s, which culminated in the valley of the Sun Valley estate market tanking harder than most other places in the Great Recession. And now, yet again, the Phoenix market is showing. Phoenix, the same thing happened in Las Vegas. Las Vegas is one of those markets that crashed so hard. I had a client when I was a real estate agent at Beverly Hills. I had a client that bought a property in Las Vegas in 2000, I think it was 5 or 2000, early 2006, for like $350,000. When that market crashed, she short sailed the property for $80,000. $80,000. I mean, those markets really crash. When they escalate and they really go up, when markets are, in like a 2005, 2006 or 2020, 2021 type of market, they'll skyrocket. But when they crash, they really, really crash. Palm Bay, Florida, down 8.9%. Changed in September, up 5.8%. Florida was another pandemic hotspot. Businesses, baby boomers, and just about everybody else who was fed up with cold winters and high cost of living migrated to the Sunshine State, famed as much for its lack of income taxes as for its sandy beaches. Palm Bay, about an hour southeast of Orlando, along Florida's Atlantic coast, absorbed some of those newbies. You have Charleston, South Carolina, down 8.6%, up 10% from last September. Give this another 90 days. We're going to really start to see all of these markets, I believe, in the negatives after the holiday season. We have Ogden, Utah, down 8.6%, up 7.7% over the last 12 months. Denver, Colorado, down 8%, up 4.2% over the last 12 months. You have Las Vegas, down 7.9%, and it's up 7%. We're starting to see tons of price reductions in Vegas. I think Vegas is going to be one of those markets that really blows people away when we look back on this in 6 months or 12 months. Stockton, California, 7.7%. You have Durham, North Carolina, down 7.5%. Washington, Spokane, Washington, down 7.4%. This is something we all need to pay attention to. That the down payments have doubled during the pandemic, so their payments are doubling. The actual money that they need to bring to the table to close has doubled, and mortgage rates, housing market update, typical home buyers' mortgage payments up 15% over the last 90 days. Up 15% in the last 60 days. So 15% increase in cost, and you have this affordability crisis, this inflationary problem. I mean, we're going to start to see so many people list their properties. I think that we're going to be entering a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to buy great real estate assets. And I believe that everyone that's renting right now, unless you have a really big family, The ideal scenario would be to bring your living costs to zero. And how you could do that is leaving an apartment, buying a 2 to 4 unit property, living in one of those units, collecting adjacent rent from those other 3 units, bringing your housing cost down to zero, plus potentially saving money, and allowing you to save your entire income to invest in other businesses and other properties. But the net goal that everyone should have that is, that has that type of structure, that doesn't have a huge family. It might be a little difficult to do that, buying a fourplex if you have, 3 or 4 people inside of your unit, inside of your family unit. But if it's just you, this could be an ideal situation. I've done this. It's worked out extremely well for me. I think that this is something that people should consider when the market is, questionable. Because if you bring your housing cost to zero and your living cost to zero, and you're simply saving money every single month, it puts you in a situation to where you're almost bulletproof in the economy. And that's exactly what you want in a time of uncertainty, because it allows you the flexibility to go out there and buy and buy and buy other assets, distressed assets, to really multiply and scale your net worth. What do you think about this entire situation? Do you think we're going to see home values plummet? I mean, just recapping these mortgage rates, 800 credit score, 7.2, almost 7.3%, but bad credit, 8.25%. That is absolutely crazy. What we're going to witness, most likely, mortgage rates hit double digits over the next 6 months if we continue at this rate, and we start to see the Fed increasing interest rates over and over and over again. We're going to really start to see this impact the housing market in a way in which many people can't comprehend. This entire market was supported by almost 0% interest rates, and now rates are just, they're moving quickly. Drop your comments below. Let's have a conversation about this. If you want to fix your credit, we would love to help you at CashNow.Video. Feel free to call us at 561-430-5900, 561-430-5900 for a free consultation. Subscribe. You're also subscribe to my second channel. It's linked down below in the description, and LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok up in the banner, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.